Saints going all the way, Saints going all the way. Kumbaya, this the Who That Nation. Game on the line, you can bet we take them. Go black and gold, black and gold. Don't stop, boy, we trying to win the Super Bowl. We rock and roll, rock and roll. Touchdown, go Saints, we gonna do it some more. We rock and roll, rock and roll. Touchdown, go Saints, now give me some more. Now who that, holla, who that, holla, who that, holla, who that, who that, who that nation. Black and gold, black and gold. Oh yeah, fire stuff. Black and gold, black, who that? They ain't ready for us. They ain't ready for us. They ain't ready for the black and gold, black, who that? They ain't ready, what up? They ain't ready, what up? They ain't ready for the black and gold, black and gold. Game time, baby.
Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, and I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And on this edition, we're going to be talking about the New Orleans Saints Week 6 matchup versus the Cincinnati Bengals. And thank you to everybody that's following in. I ask that those that are following in, please hit the like button. If you're new, just go ahead and hit that subscription button. We're about 2 subscribers away, last time I checked, from 9,000 subscribers. That's right. We are 2 subscribers away. We are at 8,998 subscribers as of right now. So if you're new to the channel, you have opportunity to be number 9,000 if you hit that subscribe button, if you're, the second person. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to 9,000, get that out of the way. But let's go ahead and talk about this Week 6 matchup. Well, let me rewind it. I got to say this. I got to say this first. I forgot. Okay, so little church announcement. I will not be doing a halftime show on today. I won't be doing a halftime show on today. I'm actually on my way to take Paxton. Him and my wife we're taking Paxton to the pumpkin patch. All right, so we won't be doing a halftime show, but we will be there for the post-game show. Yes, I will be watching the game at the pumpkin patch. My wife, she's just going to have to understand it. But I will be knowing what's going on, so we'll be back for the post-game show. But there will not be a halftime show due to the fact that I'm bringing him there. But let's go ahead and talk about the Saints versus the Cincinnati Bengals. I did the prediction. I did the prediction show. This is going to be a tough game for the New Orleans Saints. If you look at all the injuries that they have, there will be no Marshawn Lattimore. There would be no Michael Thomas. There would be no Jarvis Landry. There would be no Chris Olave. I mean, this team has been absolutely decimated with injuries. It's just unbelievable how many injuries to key players that the Saints have. Usually, like, you'll have at least 1 or 2 guys, that you can, start, and maybe you'll lose one for a couple weeks. But I have never seen a team just lose so many starters. Like, I'm just wondering to myself, like, what kind of practices are they doing? Like, what kind of stuff going on with the strength and conditioning? I really don't know. I guess sometimes you just snake bitten, and for the second consecutive year, the Saints are snake bitten. But honestly, you can even be real. The Saints were snake bitten, about 4 seasons. Like, if you count the fact that Drew Brees was out for a couple games for 2 seasons in a row before he retired. And then you had all the things that were going on last year, and now they're continuing to, rear their ugly head this year. It's just frustrating, man. It's frustrating to know that you have a very talented team, and they're trying to find ways to try to get it together, to try to utilize all the talent that they have, and then they turn around and just get injured. I mean, it's just unbelievable, man. I understand that. It's just a matter of getting hurt. It's not when, it's not if you get hurt. people like Cam Jordan are kind of like outliers. Like it just comes a time when guys are just going to get hurt. But man, the Saints definitely desperately need guys to be able to step up today in order for them to win a game versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I have a lot of respect for the Cincinnati Bengals, just like many of you. We all cheer for Joe Burrow's success. We all cheer for Jamar Chase's success. Guys like Von Bell, Trey Hendrickson, we all cheer for their level of success. But this is going to be a tough game for the New Orleans Saints to win, but it is a winnable game. I understand that the Cincinnati Bengals have been to the Super Bowl. They were the runner-up in last year's Super Bowl. I understand the talent that they possess when it comes to these wide receivers. But it's not to a point where the Saints just can't beat the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals are 2-3, just like the New Orleans Saints. And that has a lot to do with the fact that they are not the hunter anymore. They are the hunted. And when you show up on the marquee at the Super Bowl, you get everybody's best shot because now everybody is comparing themselves to you. You are the standard. So a lot of the times now, what you see when it comes to these teams is, you're wondering like, man, what happened from last year to this year? It's just the fact that everybody's on high alert. You know how it is, man. If you were, a Saints fan in the 90s or a Bengal fan in the 2010s or whatever, you know that when they see your team on the schedule, they're like, man, it ain't going to be nothing. But now everybody wants to beat the Cincinnati Bengals because they were the AFC champions last year. And this is, once again, a winnable game. What the Saints are going to have to do is they're going to have to establish the run, and they're going to have to come up with creative ways to get guys open. This is going to be one of those burn the midnight oil type games for Pete Carmichael to really see if he actually has a plan in place, because you're not going into the game with guys with a certain skill set that can be able to get you out of situations. What you have in the wide receiver position is a bunch of guys that's fundamentally sound that can do some things, but you have to be able to scheme them open. And you're also going to have to establish the run. And I do understand that the Cincinnati Bengals are a top 5 team when it comes to stopping the run. That is a fact. Okay. So last week, where the Saints ran the ball 48 times for over 230 yards, you're going to have to replicate something like that, and we're going to see if that was, a team turning a corner, or is this a team that, that just played against a bad defense. We're going to figure things out. We're going to see if this team is legit when it comes to the run. But even if the run isn't being as successful as some of those other games, I still say you need to run the football because it's going to set up the play action. It's going to open up open lanes for some of these receivers to make catches, and we'll see. And I'm also interested to see a guy like Rashid Shaheed, a guy that's coming off the practice squad. He got signed to the active roster. He's a kick returner. We know about all the records he set, NCAA records that he set at Weber State. So it'd be interesting to see what he can actually do in the return game, maybe give the return game a spark. Also, the Saints are going to have to hold on to the football. All right. Every single week, it seems like somebody putting the ball on the ground and it's stopping the momentum. Last week, the Saints had some momentum. It didn't cost them the game, but then Alvin Kamara fumbled. You got to be able to hold on to the football because you're very limited. So all the mistakes that you're going to make today can possibly cost you the game. And you also want to make sure that the crowd stays involved in the game. Last week versus the Seattle Seahawks, the crowd was into the game from start to finish, and it really helped the Saints towards the end. There was a false start penalty that was called on the Seahawks, and that had everything to do with the volume level of the Superdome. So you don't want to take the team out of the game by starting late. You want to be able to put up points and be able to sustain drives throughout all 4 quarters of the game. So that way people won't be all disinterested talking about their families, talking about their life, talking about all the things they got to do tomorrow. You want them to be fully involved in this game. You got to be able to get pressure on Joe Burrow without blitzing. Okay, I think that you can do that. Okay, the offensive line of the Cincinnati Bengals has improved, but it's not to a point where you can't get pressure on him because Joe Burrow holds on to the ball for a long time. Okay, he's not one of those guys who, just tries to, get the ball out of his hand because he understands the limitations of his offensive line, like a Tom Brady or in the last couple of weeks when Andy Dalton's been doing. You got to be able to get the ball out of your hands and be able to help your offensive line. They're ranked in the top 3 when it comes to sacks allowed. So Joe Burrow, what he does is kind of something similar to what Jameis is doing. Jameis trusts his wide receivers. Joe Burrow trusts his wide receivers, and he tries to buy enough time in order for them to be able to make those big plays. So the Saints have got to be careful not to blitz this guy and try to rush forward. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it again. All right. I feel like they need to play this game similar to how they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers had all those receivers and all that talent that can pass catch, and the Saints kind of just leave them on the island a little bit. Like maybe you need to kind of change up a little bit to account for Jamar Chase if you don't have somebody that can be able to keep up with him. But I don't think that you need to be blitzing Joe Burrow. But hey, we'll see. All right, that's how I feel like the game is going to go. That's why I feel like the keys to victory. I still feel like the New Orleans Saints can win this football game. And honestly, if the Saints do win this football game, you have to like kind of chunk this up to like, what I'm saying, maybe some good luck or some good favor or something like that, because I understand what Dennis Allen is trying to do. It's kind of frustrating as a fan because you want to see those guys out there, but it seems like he's not trying to pressure guys to go out there because he feels like he'll need them down the stretch if the Saints are going to go on a run. But man, you got to be able to win games like this. You got a big game coming up on Thursday, so hopefully some of the guys that don't play on Sunday will be able to play on Thursday, so that actually gives them a couple of days to be able to get fresh. And probably some of the things that Arizona are dealing with when it comes to injuries, the guys getting nicked up in this game, the Saints will be able to have the battle of attrition on their hand. They'll have better favor with that because you have some guys that set out this game and be able to play on Thursday. But we'll see. But that's what I feel like the game is going to go. I'll go ahead and read some of your comments. Not going to be a long show, folks, because like I said, I'm on my way to the pumpkin patch to bring Paxton. So we're going to take a few comments, few questions, and then we'll just go ahead and get up out of here and enjoy the game. Let's see. Roger, thank you very much for the $2. Says, what do you think about them bringing in Jake Funk? I think that's a good practice squad body. He has a good size. He has good speed. I haven't really heard that much about him since he been in college. But he's a solid guy. I'm saying? He got some speed on him. He can also catch the ball out of the backfield a little bit. So I can understand I can understand why they got him. And also he can contribute on special teams if somebody was to go down. So he has like a similar skill set of a Tony Jones Jr., kind of the same upside. And so he's kind of the replacement for that. And as far as Josh Howard is kind of similar to that of a Latavius Murray or even a running style of a Mark Ingram. So it does make sense that both of those guys end up being on the practice squad. I'm gonna stroll back up a little bit. TJ, the last Saint was calling you out, bro. I don't care. I mean, what does that benefit me? That don't benefit me at all. It benefits him, not me. And I already said it. I said on the last show, I'm not here for all that, man. I'm here to talk about Saints football. All that other stuff, like it's just pointless, man. I'm a grown man, all right? I'm a grown man with a wife and kids and a house with bills. What I look like beefing with a guy who's a kid, So I wish him all the success, man. But that ain't the way to do it because it don't bother me. I remember what the Baltimore Ravens defense went through last year vividly. Let's see, Aaron. We get your point. Let's try a little positivity, brother. I'm not looking past them. But we both are 2-3. A few less turnovers, and we'll be 3-2. If hot 4-1, Cincy not looking like the same Cincy from last year. Yeah, it's because everybody see him coming. Like it's different. Like I said, it's a difference between being the hunter and the hunted, right? When everybody like looking at you and they're measuring themselves up against you, you're going to get everybody's best shot. So that's what they're receiving right now. And that's the reason why there's a difference between, last year and this year. If we do lose, still rep. Well, I don't think it's going to affect anything. I mean, if the Saints are competitive in this game based on like all the injuries and all the things they sustain, I mean, that will say a lot about this team. I feel like this game right here can kind of help us make steps, like towards to see what we actually are. Because if you can get something out of a team like this and not get blew out based on all the limitations that you have, it will tell us a lot about Dennis Allen getting these guys prepared. Lattimore is out. That's pretty obvious. I mean, you can kind of tell like how the week going based on who practiced, who didn't, who gonna be in the game. Yeah, who is gonna be in the game, who not gonna be in the game. That's when you'll know. So I mean, Chris Olave not being in the game today, not a surprise at all. And I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of happy that he not playing, because we don't need him. This guy's the future of the franchise. The landlord, thank you very much for $2. Says, my God, honest prediction: the Saints 442 and the Bengals 6. So you think it's gonna go like that, huh? I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that.
Man, get your ass off that stage.
I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that. I think it still be an interesting game. Hopefully, the Saints can weather the storm and make it interesting. We finna smash at home. Who that? What apps do y'all be watching the game live? Somebody help them out with that one. I'm not too sure. Think positive. Who that nation? Who that? Let's go Saints. You might be amazed. We will get a big dose of Kevin White. Right on special teams. Good morning, who that's? I remember what the Baltimore Ravens defense went through last year vividly. Aaron, we get your point. Oh yeah, I think I already read that one. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. TJ, my Tulane Green Waves are 6-1. Well, that's good, man. I'm happy for the Tulane Green Waves. LSU got the victory on yesterday too. That was a good game. Let's see if the Saints can keep that happiness going this weekend. Shouts out to my Jackson State Tigers, 6-0 for the first time since 1983. That's right, man. We still undefeated, the only undefeated team in the SWAC, and they have won 13 conference games in a row. So shouts out to the Jackson State Tigers, and keep that momentum going, man. Defense definitely will have to ball out today. Hopefully we have Marcus May. Yeah, Marcus May is going to play. I'll be shocked if he don't. Dang, there are some people in this chat who think the Saints are going to get smashed. I don't believe that who that nation Saints win, but I'm not predicting the score. Be positive. Yeah, I mean, look, I just think that people look at what this team actually has and, compared to what they were supposed to have. And you look at the Cincinnati Bengals, but I think a lot of people are looking at the Cincinnati Bengals like they did last year. But this is not the same Cincinnati Bengals team. And I also just feel like, when they come to town now, they are the standard. Like, it's different. Like, it is different. I don't care how bad your team is. I don't care what you're lacking. When you have a team that comes in that almost represents a standard, like you get the best out of those players. Like, I don't feel like I'll be shocked if the Saints get blew out in this game. I would be shocked. Number one, because the Saints really just don't get blew out. I can't remember. I think the last time I can remember the Saints just truly getting blown out. Now, we talking about just wiped off the field. Probably would be like the Philadelphia Eagles game last year. But they always competitive in games. Like, it would be shocking to me. It would be absolutely shocking to me. And also, like I said, this game will tell a lot about the preparation and the coaching of Dennis Allen, because if you look at it, when you're looking at the tail of the tape, everything, all signs indicate that this should be a blowout. Like, if it's not, and you're keeping these guys in there, it will tell a lot about the advancement of Dennis Allen as a coach. But we'll see. Is Jameis quarterback 2 in this game? Yes, he is. He's serving as an emergency quarterback. Quarterback Jake Luton was waived by the Saints. And Jameis Winston will be dressed, but he will be the emergency quarterback if something was to happen to Andy Dalton. Congratulations on reaching 9,000 subscribers, bro. I appreciate that. I don't know if I did or not yet. Let me see. Yeah, I reached it. Okay, congratulations to us. We did it. We're at 9,000 subscribers now, so thank you all so much for making us conquer that feat. I don't know who number 9,000 was, but thank you. The Cincinnati Bengals are the little brothers of the AFC North. Y'all got to take this game seriously. I mean, I think everybody taking this game serious. I don't think nobody just saying, "Oh man, we playing the Bengals." Like this, not like how it was a couple of years back. You know. So I think everybody kind of taking this game serious. Let's see. Stop with the call outs. We're all fans here. St. John Butler. TJ, the host, looks like it's back to 2021 Saints wide receivers. Yeah, pretty much. Let's go. Next man up. I'm thankful the show is still live. Amen. Let's see. Saints can't make mistakes like term. Nah, you can't. You cannot do that this game. If you do that this game, you're gonna end up getting beat. Like I just feel like you got to be able to play as close to mistake-free football as you can. Good morning, Who Dat Nation. Hope our team have a safe and good game. TJ, thank you for all you do. Gail, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. The Saints got to play mistake-free football, close to it. What happened with Olave? They said he passed protocol. I wonder, did he have a setback? Kim, no, I don't think he had a setback. But if you look at some of these new protocols that they're trying to implement, you look at the optics of Tua Tagovailoa, possibly getting injured on a Sunday, playing on a Thursday night on a short week, having temporary paralysis in front of the entire nation, and then the following week, you have Hines for the Indianapolis Colts. Like he punched drunk on national TV. It's just the optics of it all, man. It's the team as well as the NFL. They're not trying to put this dude out there on the field, and then he all of a sudden has a setback. And honestly, I agree with it. Look, I love the Saints. I want to see the Saints win too. But at the same time, I feel like holding a guy like Chris Olave out to make sure he's all the way right, not just pressing him like, "Oh, you okay today? Oh, you okay today?" Like, I'd rather you have this dude out and him being ready for maybe Thursday night or maybe even next week. I'm not mad at it. I am not mad at it, man, because this dude is so special. He's so talented. Right now, if the season ended, he'll be the offensive rookie of the year. And he's really talented. And I don't want to see him like go out there, take another shot, the injury not really fully healed. It just healed to a point where you can pass protocol and he end up re-injuring himself and he's out even longer. So I'm not mad at it, right? So he did practice. He had light practice. He was there. He did take part, but I can respect what the Saints are doing, and I think they're doing the right thing. Like, I'm not trying to see us risk the chance of losing Chris Olave for a game versus Cincinnati Bengals in week 6. Like, this dude is so special. You're going to need him down the line if you're going to try to make a playoff run if the Saints find themselves in that situation. Hopefully we run the ball and use Taysom well enough to set up the pass game. Well, I think a lot of people are going to be prepared for him, so hopefully they got some more tricks of the trade that's available. They're going to be ready for that QB power. They're going to be ready for some of the things the Saints can actually throw at them. So hopefully they can mix it up. That's why I said I feel like hopefully Pete Carmichael has burned the midnight oil to come up with different concepts in order for them to be able to be successful offensively today. You think that he makes a big impact today? Well, I hope so. I hear about all the things he did and highlight tapes and all that, and that's cool. But we got to see this thing in real time. Hopefully the young man has a good run at it, but we'll see. It seems like he's confident. Seems like, he wants to play. You hear nothing but positive things about him, but I mean, there's a difference between the college and the pros. So let's see what he can do. Somebody named The Last Saint been talking about real bad. I got him for you. Man, I'm telling you, I appreciate this. I really do. But I don't care. Like, I really do not care. Like, I'm that's not the way to do things. That's just not the way to do it. I get what he's saying, but at the same time, like, it does not make any sense. Like, saying anything. Like, let them talk. I appreciate it, but let's see. Saints have 2 guys out. Why is Peyton Turner hurt again? I have not a clue. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Taysom involved in a pass game to throw off. Would be interesting. I still think our boys got a chance.
What are you doing?
I'm doing the show.
The show?
Yeah, Daddy doing the show.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, Daddy doing the show. All right.
Show?
Okay, you spell show for me. S H-O. Good job. All right. Rashid Shaheed, if he has a show out game, would he be the replacement for Deontay Hardy? I think that was the plan already. I just think the Saints were going to hide him out. They was going to hide him out, and then once they decide to move on from Deontay Hardy, which clearly they were because they weren't going to pay him. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I think that he was going to be the replacement. So I just think that this happened a little bit prematurely. I don't think the Saints were going to let him play this season, and they were just going to, unleash him next year when Deontay Hardy decides to go somewhere else to maybe get a bigger role as a receiver. Let's see, Von Bell been playing like a all-pro safety. Von leading the league in interceptions. I think he tied with Marcus Williams, ironically, with interceptions. I think they both have 3 interceptions. And shout out to Marcus Williams. Know he had a dislocated wrist, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. So I wish that brother a speedy recovery. I really do, man. Shouts out to him. Yeah, but both of those guys are playing at a really high level. Ironically, they both played for the Saints at one time. Do the charges against Kamara hurt his play? He seems depressed this year. Not last week, he didn't. I don't think it's affecting him at all. I just think that it had a lot to do with the offensive play schemes. I think it had a lot to do with the way the Saints have been utilizing him. I really do. So that's what I feel like was really affecting him. So let's see. We stroll down. It says we should not have let Von Bell go. He was always around the ball. Yeah, but look, I can understand why the Saints let him go, because Von Bell was kind of, I don't want to say he was bad, because he wasn't, but he was more like just a guy, right? He was what they call a jag, right? He was just a guy. And then the final year of his contract, that's when he started to ball out. So I can understand the skepticism of the New Orleans Saints not wanting to sign him. Like, basically, a lot of teams look at these guys who were in the last year of their contract and they playing all world. They're like, well, you know what I'm saying? You're just trying to get paid. What's going to happen when you don't get paid? So I can understand why. I can understand why they did what they did. I can understand it. Hey, let me get that. Thank you, buddy. All right. And your mama wants you. Let's see, Von Bell and Trey Hendrickson and Eli Apple. Yeah, former New Orleans Saint players, is doing a pretty good job. Even like, you may not like him, but even Eli Apple, you know what I'm saying? He's doing a pretty decent job. Let's see. I miss CJ. He's rolling. Okay. Man, y'all really adamant about this, man. Y'all really adamant about this. Like, let's see. The peanut gallery stay with their jaws flapping. The play calling needs to be shaken up. Is Alontae Taylor playing? Nah, he's not. Nah, he's not playing. The lights are going to start flickering soon. K Butler come back Thursday. Von Bell and Trey Henderson and Eli Apple, already read that. Stroll down a little bit more. I use your mama want you all the time. Screw Eli. I am going to the game. Screw what he said. TJ, I still have the Big Toe song in my head. Yeah, man, that just made me think about that song. What do you think about our safeties? I think they talented, but I just think that they're not on the same page, and that's not a surprise. It's not a surprise that they're on the same page. They're not on the same page, rather. It's not a big surprise because they just got there, and it's going to take some time for them to have chemistry, but it's hard for you to have chemistry when guys are in and out of the lineup. Like, one week a guy is here, and then the next week he's not there, and then you got to learn how to mesh with another guy that's in the starting rotation. So it's tough. So I don't expect for them to kind of be on the same page. I think they're good enough. I just think that sometimes you got to look at, that they have not had time on task together as much. Do you think J-Bo hurt his stock by playing hurt? In a way, yeah, I do. I just think that it made a lot of people reconsider or revisit their thoughts about him, even though, it's probably unfair because he was hurt. I felt like maybe you should be like, smart about it. I understand that he wants to play and you're a competitor, and I understand this is a competition, especially the way that Andy Dalton was playing. But, I think that people don't care about that. Is May playing today? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. The whole team not on the same page is sad how the Saints been playing. Final prediction, I see the Saints putting up 130 plus rushing and getting a win 27-20. Last saying who, okay, moving on. They got to play together more. Need Traquan to make, some big catches, and Troutman and Juwan Johnson. Yeah, everybody got to step up in this game. Everybody got to step up in this game. Is Jordan Howard playing, or does he have to sit for a game or two? Well, he doesn't have to sit for a game or two if the Saints wanted to activate him. They if they wanted to activate him, he can play. But I think he's more like, a guy that they just wanted to have on the practice squad, kind of similar to that of Latavius Murray, and activate him. But we'll see. And also, don't put it past the New Orleans Saints if Mark Ingram has another lackluster performance that they don't end up like sitting Mark Ingram down somewhere. They might have a tough conversation coming real soon if Mark Ingram continues to go in the direction he's going in. What up, TJ? Also, I think if the season doesn't go well for dinner salad, I guess you mean Dennis Allen. We need to change the culture since Drew Brees ain't here, and some players isn't here. It's time to try. I guess you mean Sean Payton isn't here. It's time to try something new. Yeah, I agree. Like maybe you need to change the culture. I don't think you just need to totally blow it up. I don't feel that way, but yeah, I look, I'm not high on Dennis Allen at all. Like, I understand they won last week, but I don't feel like that absolves the ineptitude of this team over the last few weeks before they actually got this win against Seattle. So I'm still looking, man, and I'm still seeing some of the same situation, the same issues. So hopefully we'll see some of those things change. If not, then I'm going to continue to be skeptical about Dennis Allen. 23-17, the final score for the Saints. TJ, thank you, bro, for being real on your show. I think the Super Saint will be okay. Well, the Super Saints, yeah, I think they'll be. Look, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a competitive game. It's going to be tough for them. Like you got all those guys that's limited, and then some of the guys that are missing is going to open up opportunity for Cincinnati to be able to do some things. So, but we'll see, man. We'll see. End of the season, give the enemy a call. I mean, we'll see. Like we'll see how this season is going. I don't want to just completely bury Dennis Allen, but I am skeptical about him. Hopefully he can change my mind, change the mind of Who That Nation, those that are skeptics as well. And TJ Jones, also, it was the Seattle Seahawks. Their defense is not good, but thank you for making these shows every week. We care about you. Keep up the good work and stay healthy. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I understand that the Seattle Seahawks defense is trash. I think we all kind of in agreement with that, but that was one of those games where you can get right. Like you can get right when you're dealing with offensive deficiencies. You can get right in games like that. You can be able to convert and maybe build a little confidence and maybe put some things on tape that's successful that you can use down the line that can help you kind of spearhead a little bit of a run here. But we'll see. The Cincinnati Bengals defense is pretty good, and their run defense is one of the top in the league. So let's see what they do against a formidable opponent. Do we know who's starting for Lattimore? I'm pretty sure it's going to be Bradley Roby, or they probably just have Paulson Adebo slide him over from the 2 to the 1 and have Bradley Roby out there. I know Chris Harris, he's also activated, so he'll be playing in this game a little bit more. So at least you have 3 veterans out there with Matthew, May, and Harris, that can go out there. And you can also add Bradley Roby. So those guys have been in the big games. They've started in, key moments. So it's good to have some veteran leadership out there. This game is a good test for the whole team. TJ, would you say this is a trap game for Cincinnati? Yeah, I guess if you look at it a certain way, yeah. I mean, look, if you, I always use that example. If you go out to the park and you see, a bunch of short guys out there, and you about 6'6", right? And you just looking at, what I'm saying, looking at those guys like, man, this dude ain't gonna be able to do nothing with me, yeah. And then all of a sudden, like he out there, he on some Damon Stoudemire, Allen Iverson type stuff, right? You should never want to underestimate your opponent. But I just think that that's just normal. But it could be a trap game for them if they're looking past the Saints because you don't have Thomas, Landry, or Olave out there. So yeah, this could be a trap game for them. But I think the fact that they're 2-3 and the fact that they're in the AFC North and you got some, they're trying to win that division. I think they're third in that division right now. I think they realize there's no room for error. So I think they're gonna, be up for a game like this. Rather we play good or bad, have the cognac ready. Let's see. I don't want to see Roby at cornerback number 2. Well, guess what? You're going to see it. Troutman only have 6 catches. We need more from him. Well, I mean, he made some plays last game. It was good to see him involved. Roby needs an interception. Look, if he can get an interception, fine. But can we get like some steady play? Let's make up for some of those big splash plays they gave up last week. Is Kamara playing? Yes, he is. Trap game. Now they are desperate. I think it could be a trap game though if you underestimate a team. But yeah, I do agree. Like they have the same record, so they don't have any room. Like if they came in and they were like 4-1 or something like that, I can see it being a trap game more so. The Cincinnati Bengals are about, let's see, run the ball, take control of the clock, keep our defense off the field, and take what Cincinnati gives you. Yeah, basically. Thank you for, I think I already read this. Oh, no, I didn't. What you do coming from a special needs kid like myself is 25, who's been special needs for a long time. Thank you for what you've done with the show for 5 years. Well, Ramsey, look, man, I appreciate you, man, and that really do mean a lot to me. There's a reason why I do this show to, give people a perspective, from a real, genuine, true New Orleans Saint fan. I tell people all the time, like I was born and raised in the city, and I love this football team, and I also love, broadcasting, as y'all know. That's my job on a day-to-day, and I just want to make sure I give people voices, because I just feel like sometimes when people have like shows and they do different things, they don't even like put emphasis on people or even talk about questions or views that people have. They're just 4 hours of them talking. So I'm happy that you feel that way, and I'm extremely humbled that you said that, man. So thank you so much. Because sometimes sometimes it's good to hear kind words and stuff like that. But I do this show because I love doing it and I love interacting with you all. This game gives other opportunities to play. I hate the game on CBS. Yeah, kind of figured that. Cincinnati Bengals are taking this game seriously. Well, we'll see. Saints 37, Bengals 10, my boy TJ. Man, that's a heck of a score. I hope you're right, though. Well, cool, sports, thank you very much. Trevor Penny needs to come back soon. He should be back probably in the next 3 weeks. Real talk, TJ. I'm glad I found you on YouTube. You're the best. I tell my other friends about your channel. Much success to you in the future. Who That Nation for life. Ryan, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. And thank you for the word of mouth. That goes a long way too, man. I say, man, that's what I do the show for. I do the show for all the people that's in here, all the outside stuff that, and I appreciate, once again, I appreciate y'all telling me, but that stuff don't matter to me. Like, man, what matters to me is what y'all just seen walk into this room, what y'all probably heard calling for him out of his room. That's my family. Like, I don't, like, all the rest of that stuff is irrelevant. If y'all happy with the content, it really don't matter. Anything else. But I appreciate y'all bringing it to me. But once again, it doesn't matter. Let's see. Born in the 318, raised in the 504 and the 985. I love my state. Who that, baby? Yeah, I was born and raised right in the Ninth Ward, man. Right down the street from Florida Avenue, Montague Street, Prier Street. We moved around a little bit. Feliciana, St. Ferdinand. I was all over there. So yeah, definitely embedded in the culture. Bought his New Orleans as a bus ticket and a 10-cent transfer before they became 25 cents. Bought his New Orleans as a Hugh Big pie. and getting a newspaper in front of St. Claude, on St. Claude in front of the McDonald's that my grandmother used to do. She used to drop us off at school, and they used to have this guy, which I don't know how in the world he got away with this. So what y'all remember, like those? I'm gonna get back to the show, but this just made me think about it. Y'all remember like those newspaper stands, right? You used to put like 50 cents in there, you open it up, and it was the trust system, right? Like you only can grab one paper. So this guy, he would put like his 50 cents in there. He would take all the papers out and stand on the corner on some extra, read all about it ish. Like he would stand on it. Like I didn't think about this as a kid. I just used to think he was the paper man. But the man was so disrespectful with it. He stood in front of the newspaper stand he got all the papers out of. And he would give people a paper and they would give him like, a 50 cent, and he would go in his pocket. And I'm like, how in the world how did you get away with this? Because this dude was doing this for years, man. But that just made me think about that. But I know some of y'all remember them newspaper stands, man. Like they used to put the 50 cent in and you pull that level back and then the papers were like stacked on each other. I'm like, and I used to think to myself, I'm like, man, people can actually steal these papers and sell them because they didn't make like slots. Like you can pull down a slot and get a paper out. But this man was stood on the corner for years. This man stood on the corner for years selling papers right in front of the paper stand he took the papers out of. And the police didn't say absolutely nothing to him at all. Some of y'all probably know this dude. If you travel down St. Claude, your mom, like he stood on the corner of St. Claude and Franklin Avenue, right over there where the Frankie and Johnny furniture was. Like some on St. Claude Street. He was like right over there. They have a McDonald's that's directly across the street from that Frankie and Johnny's, and he stood out there and sold those papers and pocketed their own money. And nobody said nothing to this dude at all. It's amazing. Yeah, bro. That only happens home. TJ, you got me dying laughing. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, like the dude with the newspaper. Man, that was crazy. I'm telling you. Some of y'all probably know what I'm talking about. Now that's a true hustler. My hand got caught one time, never again. I'm telling, man, this dude was out here for years and years. Like, and he was out there for, I'm saying 5 years, but it probably was longer than that. Because I can remember my grandmother, sometimes I would get sick, right? And I would have to stay with my grandmother because my mom was at work. And my uncles, they went to used to call Peters, okay? And they changed to Augustine. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about, but it was uptown right by the courthouse. And my grandmother would stop and get a newspaper. I know I had to be like in maybe third or fourth grade. And when my grandmother started taking us to Colton, that was located on St. Claude Street, he was still out there. Ain't nobody say nothing to the dude, man. And if you have not realized, man, we reaching the part of the show where we starting to get to the end. Yeah, that dude was a hustler, man. That's some New Orleans for you. Homie got me sweating, bro. Good morning, TJ. Let's go get this win. 3-3, no turnovers. Yes, please, pretty please. TJ, do you know a sweet shop lady, Miss Bips? She's my aunt and loved on Feliciana since forever. On the way to Carver, we made that stop. I probably do. I don't know. I don't remember that name in particular, but I'm pretty sure I probably went to that sweet shop if it was on Feliciana. On Feliciana. I mean, yeah, I lived around or on Feliciana majority of my life. Like my grandparents, they had a house on Prier Street, which is like not that far from like Clewitt Street for those that know the Ninth Ward. And Feliciana was like right around the corner. And then there was a brief time where my mom rented a house from a person and we stayed in, and they were on Feliciana Street. So I'm pretty sure I probably passed through there. But one store we used to go to was called Gladys Store. And then I remember like coming home from elementary school, you stop at this lady named Miss Jessie, and her house was like on Clewer Street. That was during the time like when you can actually trust people, you know, like you go knock on their door, you won't worry about them like slipping you nothing. Like, man, those were the days. You know, now you're like, you can't have no sweet shop. You be wondering, be skeptical about what a person trying to slip you or whatever. But yeah, those was the time right there. And get a frozen cup too. Yeah, they even says cigarettes like that no ID just pulled. Yeah, man, they didn't care back in those days, man. They didn't really, I don't know, they didn't really like emphasize like certain rules. Like people knew, but it got to a point where I guess those individuals became staples. Like, okay, he's selling cigarettes. He selling these newspapers. Nobody cares. TJ is Paulson Adebo going to play in the game. He was limited in practice all week. I'm pretty sure he will. I seen people do that, TJ. Is Chris Harris Jr. playing today? Yes, he is. Especially the Sunday newspapers. All right. I'm gonna take one more and then we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here, folks. It says, man, I don't care how they get it done. We just need a W. Just don't want to lose any more players in the process. Yeah, you know, let's just try to get it done. I don't care how they get it done at this particular point. You think about style and finesse maybe when some of your stars come back. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast pregame show. Much love to everybody here. Thank you so much for allowing State of the Saints podcast to get to 9,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate that. Be sure to check us out on social media, facebook.com. Search the State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. And you can follow me on Twitter at TJAYJones8. Once again, we'll not be having a halftime show today because we're on our way to bring Paxton to the pumpkin patch. So won't have a halftime show, but we will be back for the post-game show, win, lose, or draw, right here on the State of the Saints podcast. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?